All right, good deal. So the thing to remember about banjo is it's real easy stuff. People like me couldn't do it if it wasn't really easy. So we take the most quick approach that we can, and we're really not called upon like a guitar player to play full chords. In an ensemble, we're very rarely ever required to play the chords, and we couldn't if we wanted to because we don't have the range. We're really called upon to be a percussion instrument. So when it comes to chords, we just basically know enough to get by. And so I'm going to give you three pretty simple chords right now, and we'll just play through those, make sure we got that, and then we'll use them to build a tune. So the first chord we're going to look at, you can probably switch me over to the left hand, is going to be a C chord. We're just holding down the second fret of the first string. Okay, looking good. Everybody's looking good. Like any stringed instrument, we're really concerned about getting a clean sound, and in order to do that, we're getting our finger as close to the fret as we can without touching it. Okay, that's all.
You're not singing, right?
Who am I missing? Chris, oh, I am you're right, I'm missing a person or two.
You're missing two, so we need to switch that for you to gallery view.
Okay, there we go. Yep, that's better. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's all just play that C chord real quick. When we play, for right now, we're just going to brush downward with our middle finger. Should sound like that. Yeah, you guys are looking good. Yeah. Yeah, I think Sandy's not the only sandbagger here. You guys are all looking pretty good. You've done this before, I bet. So anytime really that we're playing, in our head, we're always thinking we're using that middle finger. We're taking the nail of our middle finger, which we like to be a little bit on the long side, and we're dragging it down. That's our basic stroke. Now we're going to actually make a unit, a claw hammer stroke, what we call a claw hammer stroke. We're going to do that here in just a minute. But whenever we strike the banjo, the first thing that comes into our head, we're going to stroke downward. That's our key thing. We don't care about guitars and all those other instruments, finger picks, any of that stuff. We're always worried about just stroking downward. Okay, let's look at another chord. This time we're going to have to use two fingers instead of just one. We're going to play the third fret of the first string. We're probably going to use our ring finger to do that. There's no right or wrong in banjo. Do whatever comes comfortable for you. But let's say ring finger on the third fret of the first string, and then middle finger on the second fret of the third string. So third fret first, second fret third. And let's play that. Yep, and everybody use their fingernail. That's good. Okay. Yeah, looking good. Becky, would it be possible for you to tilt your camera down just a little bit so I can see a little bit more of your right hand? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we got two chords under our belt. Let's review those real quick. Let's play the C chord. Good. And our F chord. Yeah, looking good. Okay, let's put the last chord on, and then I'll talk a little bit about the right hand. This one's going to be just a little tougher. Second fret of the second string, and that's probably going to be our ring finger. And second fret of the fourth string, and that's probably going to be our middle finger. All right, let's see what we got here. Good. Everybody's brushing down with their middle finger, so I know you're listening. Yeah, looking good. Now we'll refine that stroke a little bit with the right hand in just a couple minutes. But first I want to get used to playing these chord positions. So we're going to start Boil Them Cabbage Down, if you look at that version of Boil Them Cabbage Down that I gave you. And we're going to use these chords to just kind of play through the first part of it. I'm going to sing it while we play through it. So I already harped on the part about getting the sound to come out by using the middle finger on the downstroke. Always, banjo players, we don't ever want to leave any period of space unfilled with notes. So we're always going to play 4 beats to the measure. So for us right now, all we're going to be doing is brushing the chord while I sing, but we're still going to be playing 4 times. Every measure is going to be 4 times. So let's start. We're just going to play one measure for right now. We're holding our C chord, and we're going to play the part that goes, boil them cabbage. It's going to sound like this. Boil them, boil them cabbage. Let's try that all together, just one measure. Coming in on beat 1, I'm going to count 3, 4. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage. Is this easy stuff or what? I told you, banjo playing's easy. Now after we finish cabbage, we got to change to that F chord. Okay, so as soon as I get ready to sing the word down, we're going to switch to that F chord. Let's try getting that far. Let's just see what happens from the beginning here. Coming in on beat 1. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage. F down, and we're still playing chords. Yeah, because banjo players never stop playing notes. If there's not any melody going on or anything, we don't care. We want to always be playing notes. Let's do that again. We're going to basically then be playing 4 beats on the C chord and 4 beats on the F chord. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage down. Great. Let's go back to C. Burn them hoe cakes brown. And then that's where we change to our G chord. You guys are already banjo players. We haven't even gone 15 minutes, and you guys are already banjo players. All right, what I want to do, just kind of get the idea of changing the chords here. We're going to work on through this, and as soon as we're done with that, I'm going to have a little bit of discussion about the right hand. So from the beginning, coming in on beat 1, we're just going to play this thing on through. Well, let's just go through the first 2 lines. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage down. That's our F chord. Back to C. Them biscuits. Here's G. Brown. Let's keep going. The only song F that I can sing. Back to C. Boil them G. Cabbage. Back to C. Down. Cool. Now this would be where if we were all in the same room together, I'd say, now you guys do it without me. But we don't really have that luxury, since it would sound like a bunch of mush if I turned all you guys on. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the right hand just a little bit, and then I'll probably have each of you unmute and just double check to make sure everybody's in tune with what I'm saying here. So your right hand is almost doing everything that it needs to do. I had mentioned earlier we're going to have this clawhammer stroke. The only thing we still need to do is take that downward brush and build it into what we're going to call our clawhammer stroke. And our kind of rule that we're always going to follow, every beat is that down stroke. The only thing we're going to add is the fifth string. Now the way we're going to add that is every time we stroke downward, we're going to let our thumb come to rest on that fifth string. So that's what our stroke is going to look like, so that when we're done, our thumb is always hanging there on that fifth string. Now there's exceptions to every rule, and this is one that there are a lot of exceptions to. And if you watch clawhammer players, there's all kinds of different, you'll see them holding their hands all different kinds of ways. All the players that I like, all the ones that get the kind of sound that I like, they always have very little motion in their thumb. The right hand comes down, thumb comes to rest on that fifth string. It never moves on its own. And really, every time for your purposes right now, every time the hand strokes down, that thumb comes to rest. Whether you intend to play the fifth string or not, the thumb comes to rest there. Let's try that a couple times. I just want to hold the C chord, and let's stroke downward, doing what you're doing. I'm not done harping on this yet, but we're almost there. Every time it comes down, that thumb's going to come to rest on that fifth string. Yeah, let's just do that for a little bit. I'm going to kind of look at you guys, make sure we're all looking the same way. That thumb's going to come to rest on that fifth string, even though we're not playing it. All we're doing is just stroking downward, letting the thumb come to rest on that fifth string.
Chris is not moving his hands, he's just moving his fingers.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and what you want to do, Chris, you want to bring the whole hand up, and there you go. Whole hand including the thumb. Yeah. And yeah, Catherine, I can't see your hand as well. Yeah, you're looking good. You're looking good. Yeah, now this is critical because, like I said, the players that I like have very little range of motion. If we're going to play that fifth string, we're not going to move our thumb to make it happen. All we're going to do is just drag it on the fifth string when we pull our hand away, like that. Let's try that all together. Let's just, okay. Yeah, I'm going to back us up a little bit. What I want to do, let's play C chord. Let's just stroke downward, and then let's stop before we go any farther. So I'm going to count 3, 4, 1. We're going to stroke, and we're going to stop. And I'm going to look out there, and I should see all of you guys with your thumb parked on that fifth string. Here we go. 3, 4. And everybody but Catherine. Let's do that again. 3, 4. Yeah, now that's critical. Let's all sound our fifth string now just by dragging it when we pull away. Okay, I want to do that same thing again. We're going to stroke, we're going to stop with our fifth string cocked, and then when I say, we're going to pull away. 3, 4. And we're all stopped, our thumb's on the fifth string, and let's pull away. And that's when our fifth string sounds. We never really want to get to a point where the thumb's moving on its own. I might be exaggerating just a little bit, and there are exceptions to every rule. But basically, that's our stroke. Downward with the brush, and then drag the thumb, if you want to, when you pull away. Also, I probably should mention here, when I drag downward, my hand never really changes. It always looks like this. It always is in this same position. I'm exaggerating just a little, but it always stays in this position. So the fingers never really move on their own. The thumb never moves on their own. That's why it's called the clawhammer style, because our hand is always shaped like a claw. Okay, I want to do that a couple more times. We're just going to drag downward, park the thumb, and when I say, we're going to pull away and sound the thumb. 3, 4. And everybody's looking good. Let's pull away. Cool. One more time. 3, 4. And great. Everybody's looking good. Now let's try that stroke just without stopping in the middle. This is going to sound like this. Let's try it. 3, 4. Nice. You guys are looking great. You're all sandbaggers. 3, 4. Yeah. How about let's just, I'm going to count 3, 4, and we're coming in on 1, and we're just going to keep doing that over and over again. 3, 4. Yeah, you guys are all looking good. Right hands all look good. Great. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about that clawhammer stroke that I mentioned. Our unit, our stroke, what we're going to call a clawhammer stroke, is simply what we just did twice. It's this thing 2 times, but one time, the first time, we don't sound the 5th string, and the second time we do. So that's one clawhammer stroke, which is 2 beats. Cool. Yeah, let's try that all together. Let's just play one clawhammer stroke. 3, 4. Cool. 3, 4. Yeah. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but really that's all there is to the right hand. Now we played through Boil Them Cabbage Down while we were strumming. Let's play Boil Them Cabbage Down by using that clawhammer stroke instead. So it's going to sound like this. Boil them cabbage down. Let's try it all together. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage down. Nice. Burn them biscuits brown. Nice. Only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down. Yeah, so 4 beats per measure. We stroked down 4 times per measure, which was really 2 clawhammer stroke, because each clawhammer stroke takes up 2 beats. So how do we get melody out now? That's great for accompaniment, but how do we get melody out? I'm going to play through Boil Them Cabbage Down, and I'm just going to play essentially what we just played, and I'm going to try to do it in such a way that you can hear the melody of Boil Them Cabbage Down come out. Does everybody hear the melody coming out there? Okay. Okay, so let's look at the tablature a little bit closer now. The very first note that we're going to play is the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Now that happens to be a note that we're already holding down in our C chord anyway. So it's not hard to stroke downward and get either just that note or get all the banjo and make that note come out the loudest. So it would sound like this. But we would never stop there because we're always going to do a clawhammer stroke. So we're really going to do this. So note, chord, 5th. Note, chord, 5th. Let's try that all together. We're playing the first half of the first measure of Boil Them Cabbage Down. 3, 4. Note, chord, 5th. Nice. You guys are all looking great. Let's go ahead and move on from there. We're going to play that whole first measure. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage. And now F chord down. So basically two clawhammer strokes on the C chord makes us one measure. Now we're on the 2nd measure, F chord. All we got to do is bring out that melody on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. We got another measure. Let's try, and the next measure, C, is just like the first one. Let's try just working on from there. So this is going to be from the beginning. We're going to try to work through the first couple, 3 measures or so. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage down, F chord. Just playing our clawhammer stroke back to C. Burn them biscuits. And here comes our G. Okay, now when we get to the G chord, a couple weird things happen. Our melody is still on that 1st string, but the 2nd string plays the exact same note. I mentioned earlier that we're not really too concerned about playing full chords because we get guitar players and other people to do boring stuff like that. We're only concerned about giving the rhythmic and melodic effect of the tune. So this actual chord that I showed you as a G is not really a full G chord. It's really only 2 of the notes. We got 2 of the notes of the G chord, the G and the D, and we got them octaves apart. But we don't care because we only want to make sure we play notes and provide the rhythm. So this suffices just fine for most banjo players most of the time. So we just roll with it and move on. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's play that first line through, and then I think it'd probably be a good time to just stop and check in with everybody so I can hear you, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So what we'll do all together here, we'll play through the first 2 lines, and then what I'll do is I'll start us again playing the first 2 lines, and I'll have each one of you unmute while we start. And I just want to hear you play enough that I can tell you're on board. So just a few notes, measure or 2, whatever, and then we'll reset and let the next person do the same thing. So we're all playing together, and it's going to be we'll just work our way through the first 2 lines. 3, 4. Boil them cabbage down, F chord, back to C. Bake them biscuits. Here's brown, Doesn't sound like much of a chord, but we don't care. C, song that F, I can sing. C, boil them cabbage down. We lost somebody. Did we lose somebody?
I think so.
Or did our view change?
Mine tied up over here.
Oh.
I'm losing everybody over here.
Huh. Okay, so let's go around. Linda, if I could get you to unmute first. I'm going to start us again, and we're all playing together. I'm just going to confirm that Linda's on board, and then I'll mute her again, and then we'll go on to Sandy, and just each person just to make sure.
I'm not on board. I understand everything, but when I try to put it all together at once, it's going to take some practice.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's what we expect at this point. So coming in on 1, 3, 4.
I'm out.
Yeah. Let's do that again one more time, Linda. 3, 4.
I got it. But I don't know where my chord is yet.
You're good. You're good.
I'm gonna have it. I got it.
Okay. Okay. I don't probably need to check in with Sandy, but let's check in with Sandy. Go ahead and unmute, and I'll start us, Sandy. Whoops, I lost video.
Oops, Sandy lost her video.
Yeah. Are you there, Sandy? Sandy, unmute if you can hear me.
Or turn your video back on. While she's working on that, why don't you go on?
Yeah, let's go on to Mike. Why don't you go ahead and unmute Mike? Alrighty, and coming in on 1, 3, 4. Boil. Yeah, looking good. Yeah, what happens is the sound strobes. So when if you don't have the original sound for your musicians on, I only hear part of what you're playing. Do you have a switch for original sound, Mike?
It's usually at the very top where it says view. To the left, it should say original sound for musicians.
Oh, here it is.
Was it on or off?
It was off before.
Okay, now turn it on, and that should make a big difference.
Yeah, let's go again then. 3, 4. Yeah. We're good. Let's go on to Rosemary.
Rosemary needs to unmute.
And unmute yourself first, Rosemary.
Okay.
Okay. Coming in on 1, 3, 4. Yeah, you're looking great, but I can't hear you very well either. I bet your original sound is off.
I don't know where that is. Let's
Okay.
see.
She's on an iPad, right?
Oh, Yeah.
No, I'm on a laptop.
Oh, okay, so it should be at the top where it says view, top right corner.
Yeah.
To the left
I
of
have
that, it
recording
should
and a green check mark.
If
say,
okay,
between that, it should say original sound for musicians.
No.
I'm guessing that that's a setup in Zoom to allow original sound, and I'm guessing you've got it set up in your Zoom profile to not allow it. But I can tell by looking at you, you're coming along fine. So we can
Okay.
go ahead and move on.
Becky?
Yeah, Becky's next. If you've got original sound on your screen, turn it on. If not, don't worry about it. I can see you pretty well too. 3, 4.
She's muted.
Oh, you're still muted, Becky.
There you go.
Okay. 3, 4. You're sounding great. Great. Let's go to Catherine.
She's got that.
Yeah, she's got it. You guys are all coming along so great. We're going to have a hard time filling up the next part of this hour or hour and a half.
I'm going to call Sandy and find out what's going on.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay.
There we
I couldn't unmute. Okay, and Becky's not really a beginner. She's a support.
Oh, okay. Okay. 3. You're coming on fine, Catherine. Yeah.
Don't sound like Becky though.
Hey, we got Sandy back. Let's go to Chris next, and then we'll get back to Sandy.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. 3, 4. You're great. You're a sandbagger too. Terrific. Let's go to Sandy then.
Can you unmute? Sandy needs to unmute.
Can you unmute, Sandy? Oh, in the lower left-hand corner?
Where it says,
Are you on a laptop, Sandy?
can't figure out.
There,
Now
you're
am I
unmuted.
there?
There you are. Yeah.
Okay, this old lady will try it.
All righty. 3, 4. Yeah, you're looking good. I bet your original sound is off as well. Do you have a thing that says original sound in the top right?
Up right? No,
Where it says
Okay.
recording?
it says, I see a recording and there's a green check mark.
To the
And
right of that, is there something that says original sound? Between that and view?
Nope.
Okay,
Okay.
I bet that's a Zoom profile thing.
Can I say something?
Yep.
On mine, I think she has the same setup. On the left where the microphone is for audio, there's a caret next to it, and there you get that setting. You click on the little up arrow,
Oh,
Oh, there is.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then it gives up a menu. So what should it be set at?
Original sound for musicians should be checked.
Okay, got
It's
it.
under microphone modes.
Yes. Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, did you find that, Sandy?
Yes, no.
Yes, no?
Yeah, I hit on it and then everything else disappeared, so I'll try again. I don't know. I don't want to hold everybody up.
Yeah.
So let's just play.
Okay, sounds good.
Try it and see what
Yep.
it sounds like.
Yep, let's go one more time. Here, coming in on 1, 3, 4. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm pretty comfortable. Everybody's on board here. Let's go ahead and mute Sandy again. And if you could tilt your camera down just to hear Sandy also. Even though I know you're a sandbagger and you don't really need my help. All right, you guys are now banjo players. So all we need to do is just perfect things a little bit so that things happen more smoothly. You can hear that sound, the melody of Boil Them Cabbage come out. Is there anybody that can't hear that melody coming out when they're playing? We're all good there? Okay, what I want to do is work us through to the end of Boil Them Cabbage Down now, and then we'll talk about a couple more things. So when we get to the third line, we're going to still be on a C chord. Now we know that our C chord is holding down that 2nd fret, or at least what we now know is a C chord is holding down that 2nd fret. In the third line, our first note is at the 5th fret. Whenever we run into that situation where the fingered note, the melody note, is not in our chord, we just have to adjust our fingering to add that note. So instead of playing the 2nd fret, we're just going to play the 5th fret. Now, we're still in our C chord, and nothing else wants to change on our C chord. We're just going to move down there long enough to play that 5th fret, and then when we get to the end of that first measure in that third line, we're going to move right back to that 2nd fret, back to what we now know as our C chord. Okay, so let's try that first fret, or first measure in the third line. This is going to be the first measure, third line, and we're going to be starting at the 5th fret. At the end, we're going to move to the 2nd fret, all together, coming in on 1, 3, 4. Them cabbage. And notice when we got to that 2nd fret, we let go of our chord. I did not write in a brush on the chord like I did on the 4th beat of every other measure. That's to accent that melody note. Now, we could have played the full chord or we could have not. It really doesn't matter. Banjo players are lazy, so you do whatever is the most comfortable for you. But you do want to make sure that the melody comes out when you're playing it. So we've got 3 measures that are exactly the same there to start that third line. So we're playing the third line, coming in on beat 1, 3, 4. Boil them cabbage, boil them cabbage, boil them cabbage. There's our G chord. Last line, only song, just like the second line. I can sing F chord, C chord, G chord, and C chord. Okay, let's talk about a couple things real quick. Banjo players definitely are not usually worried about playing full chords, but we do want to play as much of them as we can without putting forth too much effort. When we look at that G chord that has the duplicated strings, when we play that chord, we can hit either the second or the first string. We get the same note. Either one's fine, or both. When we get to the last measure of the second line, now we've got a C chord, and if you look at the second note in that last measure of the second line, it's just like you'd expect it. Open, open 2. That's what we've been playing as our C chord. But the first note in that line is the open second string. It's not the first string, but the open second string. That's a little bit harder to get clean enough that you can hear the melody come out. So how do we do that? That's what I'm going to harp about here for the next couple minutes. When we brush, and you guys are all looking pretty good, we brush downward and we cock that fifth string. In order to get the other, any note except the first string, in order to get that cleanly, we try to brush inward like this instead of downward like this. Can you turn the right hand camera on, Chris?
I did.
Oh, okay, thank you. So what we want is this, in and out, as opposed to up and down like this. And that way it is easier to hit just one of the other strings and not the first string. The first string is easy either way. The second, third, and fourth strings are a little more complicated. So we try to get that inward stroke. That makes it easy for us to pull out that second string. Now, we can also, even if we're moving up and down, we can still hit that in such a way that it makes that sound come out stronger from the second string. If you look at clawhammer players, you'll see all different approaches out there. The players I like tend to have more of this inward-outward type thing instead of the up and down type thing. But either way, you can still pull that melody out. You just have to get used to striking in such a way that that one either sounds on its own or sounds louder than the others. A lot of times that involves, if you're playing more than one, involves stopping at that string where you want the melody to come out. And right now I'm strumming. You can see if you're looking at my right hand, you can see that I'm strumming and I'm stopping at that second string, so that one sounds the loudest and the last. So those are things to keep in mind. The three kind of big things from the right hand perspective are in and out instead of up and down, thumb never moves on its own, and always be trying to get the melody to jump out when you play. Yep, looking good. Everybody's looking pretty good. There is no right or wrong, but the players I like tend to play that way. So what I want to do, let's work through this thing one more time. We'll all be playing together and just trying to bring that melody out. Just be thinking to yourself, bring that melody out. And I forgot to mention the fingers themselves also are not really moving on their own. The claw, you got to keep the claw. Okay, from the top, coming in on beat 1. 3, 4. Boiled cabbage. Crickets. Brown. The only song that I can sing. Here's our C chord, G chord, and then C, get that second string. Let's keep going. Third line, 5th fret, 2nd fret, 5th fret, and here's our G chord. Last line, C chord, here comes an F chord, C, G, and C, getting that second string. Yeah, let me hit one more thing here before we move on. A lot of times it is easier to bring out melody if you bend your wrist a little bit. Either come in from the top of the banjo instead of the side, so this instead of this, or bend the wrist so that the hand becomes perpendicular. Yeah, what you've got right now looks great, Mike. Yeah, and that's basically always the players I like, and my approach is always that wrist bent type thing. Yours is looking real good. Becky, Sandy looking good. Chris looking good. Catherine looking good.
The beagle doesn't have it.
Oh, the beagle doesn't have it. But he's a handsome beagle, though. Okay, I feel like we're in a pretty good place here. Yeah, Catherine.
I have a question.
Yeah, Catherine.
When you're hitting the melody note, are you bringing the finger up, or is it still going down?
Still going down.
Still going down.
Okay, then I was doing it wrong.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's always, the hands always, it's never really working. The fingers are never working on the up part. They're always working on the down part. Yeah, what you're doing now looks good. Yeah. 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 Now, where was I headed? Okay, I'm going to play through what we've been working on here before we move on. And yeah, let's make sure the right hand camera's on so you can kind of see the clawhammer stroke here. And I almost always play in this area between the neck and the head, and that's where the best sound tends to come out. Depending on the style you're playing and who you're playing with and how much volume you want to get, what tone you want to get, you could be anywhere from way up on the neck down by the bridge. But generally, the kind of the sweet spot to settle in first is this one right here by the neck. So I'm going to play through what we've worked through so far. Now, I'm going to play each part twice. I'm going to play the A part twice and then the B part twice. The second time I play the A part, I'm going to throw in a few embellishments, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. We won't have time to work on those things right now, but I'll talk about them a little bit. Here's Boil Them Cabbage Down. Here's the second line. Here's that A part again with a few embellishments. And here's the B part. And here's that B part again with a few embellishments. Okay. I was going to talk about something. Oh, so if you were to take one of my classes, one of my Beyond Beginner classes, you guys are already at the point now where with just a little bit of playing, just a little bit of getting comfortable with what we've covered, you could be in a Beyond Beginner class. And what we would do in a Beyond Beginner class, like the one I've got coming up in April at the Buckeye Dulcimer Festival, we would cover those kind of embellishments that I just put in the second time around. Now, the embellishments consist of things like hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, and also a little bit of playing around with the melody. Things that are not really far beyond what you can already do in just the hour that we've been working on stuff. So I've proven in 1 hour that banjo playing is easy. Okay, we're going to go on to whatever it was I gave you, the other one I gave you, Soldier's Joy.
Does anyone have questions?
Oh, and yeah, any other questions before I go on? Thank you, Chris. Is everybody in good shape?
In good shape?
I have a question.
Shoot.
Why does the G chord not sound like a G chord?
Well, it's that fact
Well,
that
it's
we're only
that
playing
fact
two
that
of the
we're
three
playing
notes.
2 of the 3 notes.
Well, is there a G7 that you can play instead?
Not really.
Not
Not one that's easy
really.
to
Not
get
one
to.
that's easy to get to.
And it's because of
And it's
that, the way
because of
the
that, the way
tuning is,
the tuning
with
is,
the second and the
with
first
the
string
second
being
and
so
the first
close.
string being so close.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of exceptions to every rule, and that's one of them. We could certainly find a way to either play a full G or play a G7 if we wanted, but that's something banjo players just really don't worry about.
Okay, I have one question.
Shoot.
When you play at the jam where everything is in D, are you using this tuning and a capo?
You got it. That's an excellent question. Yeah, that's yeah. A lot of people ask that question. Why are we doing this workshop in C? Well, it's double C tuning. It's the same relative tuning as double D tuning. And the tunes we played, both of the tunes that I gave you, are both really D tunes. We're playing them in C, but they really should be in D. And really, I shouldn't probably even introduce them in C, but it's a lot easier for people to understand if they don't have to put a capo on for beginners. So that's why I do them in C. But you can either get to double D by tuning one step up from where we are now, which lets you play those tunes in D, or put a capo on the first fret, which is what most people do. I like to actually tune up instead of using a capo, but some scales are longer, like especially those old harmony banjos, I think are a 27-inch scale, and it's kind of cumbersome with that longer scale to tune all the way up to D. So a capo at the first fret. Now, one thing I do want to mention, if you capo at the first fret to go to D, you still need to raise your fifth string. Since your capo doesn't cover the fifth string,
Right.
you still
Okay.
need to raise the fifth string up to A.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hmm. Any other questions before I move on? Okay, let's go on to Soldier's Joy.
If they have questions, they can always type them in the chat too.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned earlier or not, but if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat at any time. Chris is over here monitoring, so she'll see if you put a question in there, and she'll make sure I answer it. So I just said, you guys are now banjo players. You could take a Beyond Beginner class. You maybe need to just become a little bit more familiar with the style. There's a couple things in this version of Soldier's Joy that kind of highlight the things that you want to make sure to get under your belt in order to be able to take a Beyond Beginner level class. The first of those things is being able to play tunes cleanly that have melody on something other than the first string. Yeah, I just saw that come up from Rosemary. What was the...
In double D, do you only retune the fourth and second?
No, Rosemary. You'd have to retune them all up one step. Yeah, so it's actually, yeah, that's why a lot of people do it with the capo rather than retuning. Although, I will have to say this, like this banjo has a little bit shorter scale. I rarely keep it in double C. I will just keep it in double D because there really aren't a whole lot of tunes in double C. There aren't a whole lot of tunes in the key of C. So I just keep the banjo in double D. All right, we're going to play Soldier's Joy. And this is just a little bit tougher than Boil Them Cabbage Down. And really only because the melody doesn't fall quite as nicely as Boil Them Cabbage Down. Let's look at the first measure. First note is that open third string. Second note is the fourth fret of the fourth string. Okay, now we're working out of a C chord. I opted not to put in the full brush. I didn't put in the full chord like I did on a lot of the measures of Boil Them Cabbage Down. I didn't put that in this first measure of Soldier's Joy. That's because I wanted to bring out that melody on that fourth fret of the fourth string. Now, there's no reason that you couldn't play more than just that fourth string. You just got to try to get it in such a way that you can hear that melody come out. Now, I talked about the C chord. I talked about the fact that banjo players don't really worry about chords too much. This measure is an excellent example of where a banjo player would really not worry about the chord at all. It's what we do. It's the way we operate. It's a little bit tough to play that measure and hold down that first fret of the second string, of the first string, second fret of the first string. It could be done, but it gets to be a little tough. So we just don't do it. We don't hold down that second fret. And it actually, not holding down that fret really makes the sound better because it adds a certain, even though it's not in the chord, it adds a certain color that we like to the sound. It actually turns that, what was a C chord, into a C chord with an added ninth, which is, in old-timey music, is a sound that you hear quite a bit. They don't ever call it by name, but it's a sound that you hear quite a bit in the music. So, bottom line, for that first chord, we're just not going to worry about playing that second fret at all. So we're just going to worry about playing our open third string, then our fourth fret of the fourth string, followed by the 5th string, then back to our open, this time 4th string, and then the 4th fret of that 4th string again. So that first measure is going to sound like this. And it might come out something like this. If it does, that's fine. Let's try that all together, coming in on the 3rd string on beat 1. 3, 4. Let's do that again, coming in on beat 1. 3, 4. Okay, how does that feel? Is that a little bit uncomfortable? It probably is for most folks compared to bringing out the melody on the 1st string. Okay, but that melody does want to come out on the down stroke when you're stroking in, and you still, even if you're hitting melody on that 4th string, you still want to cock that thumb every time. And you notice I wrote that thumb note in right where we expect it on the 2nd half of our clawhammer stroke. Let's do that measure again. Coming in on beat 1, 3, 4. Not looking too bad. Let's do that again. 3, 4. Cool. Yeah, you guys are all a little bit off sync with me, but I'm looking at, I think everybody's in pretty good shape here. I'm going to go ahead and move us on to the 2nd measure, and that's going to start on that 2nd string or 3rd string again, but then we're going to add the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So what we see happening here is we've got a lot of notes. Back when we were playing Boil Them Cabbage Down, all of our melody notes fell conveniently right in that chord that we were playing anyway. Now we've got a lot of melody notes. They're passing notes within the melody that aren't in that chord, and we just hold the chord the best we can while we get those melody notes, and if it's inconvenient to hold the chord, we let it go, and we just worry about playing the melody notes. So we're going to just play the 2nd measure by itself. It's going to sound like this. And let's try it all together. 3, 4. Yeah, let's do that again. 3, 4. Yeah, so things to keep in mind, and I know I've said this before, when you're stroking down, you just want to do whatever you need to do. There's no right or wrong. Do what you need to do to get that melody to come out, to get that melody pop out. Either concentrate on getting that one note to come out, only playing that one note, or concentrate on playing in such a way that that one's the loudest. We're going to try it from the beginning here. 3, 4. 4th fret, open 4th, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 3rd measure, same as the 1st. And here's our G chord. How's everybody feeling about that? Are we in pretty good shape? I guess the main thing is, do you understand what's going on here? Do you see how we get the melody to come out and how we work it into that basic clawhammer stroke, that unit we call a clawhammer stroke? Kind of the first thing we care about, as soon as we pick the banjo up, the first thing we care about is this clawhammer stroke. Soon as I sit down with the banjo, my hand starts going like this. What notes come out? with the left hand doesn't matter near as much as the fact that the right hand's always doing this because it's getting that rhythm. I'm exaggerating just a little, and it may vary from time to time, and there's exceptions to every rule. Sometimes it's got a little more lilt than others, but regardless, it's always that driving force of the rhythm. That our job as banjo players is not to play all the melody. We try to get some of it. It's not to play the full chords. We try to get some of them. Our job is really to be that driving rhythmic force of the ensemble. There's exceptions to every rule, and sometimes when we play, we are worried about melody. And sometimes when we play, we want to get more of the chords in to color things. But by and large, what you want, for you right now, what you want to think of is getting the rhythm down first, and then pull as much of the melody out while you're playing the rhythm as you can. As you get more advanced, you'll start thinking more about, well, this is one of those situations where I want more of the melody to come out. For whatever reason, this is a place where I need to be bringing the melody out, or I need to show up the chords. I might really want to put in more of a G chord, or I might want to give it some other color with the left hand. So let's try Soldier's Joy from the beginning. I think we're all good to get through. We can probably get through the whole first part. The second line really is not much different than the first. We just move to the melody on the first string, which should be a snap for all you guys. So let's go from the very beginning, starting on that fourth string on beat 1. 3, 4. Back to the third string, 4th fret, open 4th, 4th fret. Here's our G chord. Second line, 3rd string, 4th fret, open 4th, 4th fret. Now our melody's on the first string, G chord, back to C chord. And there's our melody on the second string now. Let's do that again. I'll count us in and we'll play that again all together from the A part. First line. 3, 4. Third measure. Last measure, first line on a G chord. Second line, C chord. Now you notice, if you look at the second measure of that first line, you notice I did put in the C chord there. I did put the 2nd fret in when we play that chord. You can or not. It really doesn't matter. It sounds really about the same either way, and some folks would argue sounds better without that 2nd fret held down. Is everybody in pretty good shape, just as far as the concept and being to the point where you feel like you could work through it on your own without a problem? Okay, let's go on to the B part of this tune now. And the nice thing here is the melody is going to be on that first string, so it is going to be a little easier to get. Now you notice the second note of that third line, the melody goes to the 3rd fret. I opted not to put the whole chord in there just to bring out that melody. Now, that's another situation where the melody moves to that 3rd fret, which is not really part of the chord, but that's okay. We really don't care. And then at the end of that measure, it goes up to the 5th fret. And again, we roll up there, the rest of the chord's unchanged. if we were going to stay on that C chord, we just make sure to get back there. So we're going from the third line, beginning of the third line. It's going to be 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3, 4. Everybody good with that? Let's do that again. 3, 4. Helps if I play it right. Now let's look at the second measure of that line. We got an F chord. The first note of that measure is the open first string, a note that's not in our F chord. But the way we would normally play that, now we're not even going to probably play the F chord in that measure until the end of that measure, but we're probably going to shoot for that F chord right away. We're just going to lift our ring finger off of our F chord so we can play that open. We're going to set it back down at the 2nd fret to play the next melody note, and then we're going to put it back where it normally goes when we're playing an F chord on the 3rd fret to finish out that measure. If you wanted to not play that 2nd fret of the 3rd string, if you think to yourself, well, I'm not even going to be playing that chord because I'm playing the 1st string, which is where all the melody is, and you wanted to not put that down, you could really do that, because banjo players, as a rule, just aren't really worried about playing chords. Most banjo players would probably put it down, but it's really not a big deal. So when we get to that 2nd measure, we're just shooting for that F chord and opening up the 1st string. I will add this real quick. Even if we're opting to not play all the chord because we're too lazy, we're still thinking in terms of that chord. We're still thinking, I'm working out of an F chord here, even if I'm not playing those. That's not real important to you right now, but very soon it will be, because that chord, knowing where that chord is, helps you to understand where the melody is and get to that melody faster. Okay, let's play just the 2nd measure. This is just the 2nd measure of the 3rd line. And so you see I've got my 2nd fret of the 3rd string down, and then we're playing, but the 1st string's open. 3, 4. Let's do that again. 2nd measure, 3rd line. 3, 4. Cool. One more time, just that 2nd measure. 3, 4. Okay, let's try it from the beginning of that 3rd line all together. 3, 4. F chord. Back to C. Here's our G. Holding together still? I don't see anybody looking too scared. Let's look at that very last measure when we got to the G chord. The first note of the measure is the open 1st string. That's right there in our chord. The 2nd note is the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Well, he's not there in our chord. So we got a couple different options to get him. What we'll probably do, and again, we're not all that worried about playing chords anyway, but what we'll probably do is take whatever finger you're holding the 2nd fret of the 4th string down with, we just move that temporarily down to the 3rd string long enough to play that melody, and then as soon as we're done, put him right back. Okay, let's try just that one measure. This is the 4th measure in the third line, it sounds like this. Let's try it together. 3, 4. How about let's do that one more time. 3, 4. And working out of that G chord. We're not too worried about making the full chord, but we're still pretty much trying to work out of that G chord. All of these notes in this tune I put here after we already worked through Boil 'em Cabbage Down for the reason that it's got a lot of melody moving around. So you're trying to keep the chord in the back of your head. You're trying to finger as much of it as you can. And while you're doing that, moving the melody around. So your first concern really is your right hand stroke. Second concern is as much of the chord as you can get. Your third concern is scraping out that melody. The nice thing about being a banjo player in an ensemble is you got the guitar player to worry about dumb stuff like chords. You got the fiddle player to worry about dumb stuff like melody, and you get to have fun controlling the rhythm. Okay, let's go. This is going to be the third line of Soldier's Joy. We're just going to play it all the way through. If it's going real good, we'll just keep right on going and play the last line, which is almost the same. So third line, coming in on beat 1, 3, 4. Here's our 5th fret. Back to second, open, second fret, C chord. Here's our G chord. Second fret, open. Last line. Open. F chord now. Okay, I see that there is a typo on this. The third measure of the last line, the first half of that measure should have a C chord over top of it. The third measure of the last line starts on a C chord. Third measure of the last line starts on a C chord. I forgot to write the C chord on there. Now you can tell it's a C chord because if you look at the second note of that third measure in the last line, you see 2 0 0, which is our C chord. And again, we're not really concerned about chords anyway. So you guys are all banjo players now. As newly pedigreed banjo players, does anybody have questions for me before you get ready to head on to your new Beyond Beginner level?
It's just killing me not to use my thumb. I play 3-finger all the time, so.
Yeah. I'm actually impressed that you've got the downstroke thing, and yeah.
He's a 3-finger banjo player.
Yeah, he's a Scruggs style banjo picker apparently. Yeah. Yeah, but that the two styles are remarkably similar from the standpoint of they both are responsible for the drive in the ensemble.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I guess that wasn't really a question.
Can you play that up to speed?
I can try.
Play that up to speed so they know what they can do next year.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you, I'll do the same thing I did with Boil 'em Cabbage Down. I'll try to play it pretty much as written the first time, and second time I'll embellish it a little bit. And when I do the embellish, that'll be the kind of thing that I would cover in a Beyond Beginner class.
But more up to speed.
Yeah, but more up to speed. that A part again. B part. I forgot to play it as written the first time. Sorry about that.
Another beat, because I just switched to your piano.
Oh, okay. Now, I know it didn't seem like that on parts of that, but really it is all based on that clawhammer stroke that we've been working out of. I made a few exceptions. There's exceptions to every rule, and I made a few exceptions to embellish it. It's all based on that same stroke.
I have a question.
Okay.
Are you, I know you're teaching the banjo class in the morning at Buckeye Dulcimer Festival. Are you teaching one in the afternoon?
You're talking about on Saturday?
Yes. How they have them offered, like just a taste of a class?
Yeah, I'm only in the morning. I think I'm doing rank beginner, basically what we already did here in the morning. And then the second session in the morning, beyond beginner, which would be the level you're probably at now. And then I think that's it for Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, but Thursday and Friday is going to be beyond beginner, which will actually be a pretty good class. Be 10 hours, and we'll cover a lot of embellishments during that. Any other questions before we break up?
If you retune to D, are the frets played the same?
Yep. Yeah, if you retune this to double D tuning, which would be one step up from where we are, which would be E, D, A, D, A, all you got to do is play it exactly the same way we've been playing it, and it would come out in D instead of C. Anything else?
You're going to be teaching this at Evart too, right?
Yeah, the close-up view of the right hand is delayed. Yeah, when we tried to get set up, where our internet's somewhat limited here, and we had to use our phone 5G in order to run the second computer, and it's not as fast as our home internet, so it is delayed a little. I meant to mention that. Yeah.
Are you teaching at OVG next weekend?
I am teaching, but not banjo. Right?
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
You're teaching Mountain Dulcimer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a question.
Shoot.
When you put on the cape, the first fret here for D or because I thought it was down here.
Yeah. Catherine, would you mute? Yeah, say that again, Becky.
Okay, when you put on the capo for double D, does it go here or here?
It goes on the second fret.
Okay, because I thought you said the first. I'm like, I was confused. So it does go on the second fret.
Yeah, if I said first, you can never believe what I say. I'm a banjo player.
Did I have it wrong? Yeah, okay, second fret. Gotcha.
Yeah. Anything else? You guys all did great.
Does Linda have a question?
I think Linda might be
No,
getting
I just have a big thank you because I learned a lot about the banjo, which I've had mine forever and I'm ready to play. So thank you so much.
Cool. We got a whole bunch
Yep,
of
thank you much, sir.
What was that, Chris?
Just said thank you as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. We'll see you down the road.